We have a funny family story. Well, it really depends on who's telling it. My sister Laura came home from high school in her senior year and gave my mom some startling news. From my mom's reaction, you would have thought that she announced that she was pregnant or on drugs. But no, it was simply that she was a Republican. What followed was a little bit of yelling, then some tears, and my mom even tried bringing up my grandma's name in the hopes of a little bit of guilt. A few months went by, and then Laura asked my mom to mail her voter registration card that she had completed. The funny thing is that my mom intended to send it in, but just couldn't do it. Of course, the election came around, and my sister, excited to vote for her candidate Mitt Romney, asked where her voter registration card was. And my mom had to confess. When my mom tells the story, it's with a little bit of laughter and a dose of shame. But when my sister tells the story, it's like it just happened yesterday and she's still mad and upset. Maybe my mom should have been happy that my sister wanted to vote, because according to the national census, only 47% of 18 to 24-year-olds voted in the 2004 presidential election, compared to 50% in 1964. Do you want to have a voice in the issues that we will be facing in the not-too-distant future? Will we be able to live on our own facing a huge amount of student debt? Will we have Social Security like our parents and grandparents did? Will we have affordable health care? And what about our environment and global warming? Will you be someone who can join in the next conversation when we have the next presidential election in November? When your family and friends ask who you're going to vote for, will you answer, "Oh, I didn't bother to register, or I didn't know how"? Or can you say, "I registered to vote, and I'm going to vote for"? If you don't exercise your right to vote, you won't have a say in any of these issues. Don't let what some people say, "Why should I vote? It won't make a difference," stop you. Just simply answer, "It's my right." Generations of people fought for your right to vote, and while others living in countries where they don't have this right, you do. Think of it as honoring those who came before us to secure this right. Military members, suffrage activists, and civil rights leaders, who we owe a great debt of gratitude and appreciation for their sacrifices. Voting is a way to pay our respects. We are facing the biggest challenges to our planet in terms of climate change and natural resources. It may be up to us to make sure that we elect people who will not only represent our generation, but we are responsible now for our future generation. Study.com reported that 75 million millennials born between 1980 and 2000, which means me and you. And when these issues come up, your voice has a lot of power. Politicians will vote for what the people want and what a large group votes. You have the power to give our generation a voice by voting. According to the ABC News, in the 2008 election, 2.6 million people ages 18 to 24 registered to vote, and for the first time in our history, a black president was elected. And in the same age group, 49% of people voted, which was the only age group to show a significant increase in voter turnout. These newspapers are my mother's. She never thought that she would live to see a black president, and she was proud to be from a generation that voted for Obama. In our next election, it is now a possibility that she can vote for our first female president. Whether you agree with her or not, you have the right to vote and to have a say in this decision. The election is historic because who knows how long it may be before we have another female candidate. You can either be on the Republic or Democrat side, but if you don't vote, you're not going to be a part of the conversation. Can you imagine standing by and doing nothing when we have so many major issues facing us? There is power in numbers, and we need to have our voices heard. It may not happen as quickly as we would like, but every vote is a voice telling those we elect what we want. If you don't think one voice has the ability to change anything, look at the example of Candace Leitner, whose 13-year-old daughter was killed by a drunk driver. She started the organization MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. Most of us would not get in a car and drive drunk because we know we're facing jail time, fines, and a loss of our driver's license thanks to one woman's initiative. Some people also say that they're intimidated by the whole process. They don't know how or where to register. Campus Vote Project reports that 21% of students ages 18 to 24 were not registered to vote because they missed the deadline, and 1.7 million students did not know how or where to register. It's so easy. Just go to rockthevote.com or vote.us.gov. In most states like Pennsylvania, the websites will take you directly to the online application, fill it out, and you will be registered to vote. And voting is easy, especially if you live in Washington State. The state mails you a ballot 18 days before the election, and you simply just have to mail it back. It's so simple. In most states like mine, you will be assigned a voting location near your home. that's open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. For example, my location is at the elementary school I attended growing up. You go into a room with volunteers to help you. Go behind a screen, and it's just simply as a list of candidates. After making your selection, you just push the vote button, and that's it. You have until March 28th to register to vote. Don't wait until it's too late. The deadline's coming up, so just go online, get your form, and mail it in. Or in most states, simply register online. And by the way, back to my family's funny story. My mom insisted that I register to vote because although my dad is Republican, he generally skips voting in order to keep the peace in the house. My mom comes from a long line of Democrats until my sister broke the chain. So now my mom knows that my sister is going to wipe out her vote, so she's hoping I'll vote for Hillary Clinton in the next election if she wins the primaries. I think I'll help her out because I want to be a part of history and be able to tell my children that I voted for the first female president. If you want to wipe out my vote, and this is your candidate, or it may be one of these candidates, well then go ahead, it's your right. And don't forget, in 2020, we may be voting for this guy. Let your voice be heard. The deadline is March 28th, so please go vote. Thank you.